This is Jump, Book 1 of the Robert March Chronicles, Chapter 3.
So you may be wondering, was I crazy? Did I have some kind of hallucination brought on by the stress of the day? Had I totally lost it? Had I finally been driven over the edge by the personal and public hell that I had been living through these last several months? I mean, an hour ago I was standing at the edge of a very tall building, fully intending to step off and plunge to my death. Not to mention the fact that I just had a conversation with my dying doppelganger from some other dimension, or whatever the hell that was. I had to be nuts, right? Yes, I was shaken. Yes, my mind reeled. But somehow, down deep, I knew I wasn't going insane. At least not in a conventional sense. I felt fairly normal. I felt rational. I felt not insane. I emerged from the hospital into the bright late morning sunlight. I found a bench in a quiet corner of the grounds, sat, and tried to collect my thoughts. My phone rang. It was a call from the 911 area code. I didn't know what to do. I thought about silencing it. I thought about throwing the damn thing as far as I could hurl it. But I just sat there staring at that impossible area code as it rang and rang and rang. It seemed it would never quit ringing until I answered it. Hello? Static. Then a voice that sounded like it was being transmitted from 1,000,000 miles away.
Can you hear me?
Yes, barely. Who is this?
Stand by control. Can you?
You'll need to pull it back.
I heard the faint sound of excited chatter in the background for a second. 2 voices? 3? The static cleared, then a man's voice came on.
Robert, if you look straight ahead and to your left a bit, you'll see the entrance to the USS San Francisco Memorial. You can walk it in 10 minutes. Someone will meet you there.
The phone went dead. So, I was being watched. Great. I stood and started walking. What else was I going to do? Ten minutes later, I arrived at a small plaza near the entrance of the memorial. A few visitors were standing in line waiting on a park ranger to begin the morning tour. A group of rowdy teenagers exited a school bus in the nearby parking lot and joined the tour group. I stood there trying to look casual as I scoped out the area. Eventually, a middle-aged man dressed in khaki shorts and an Old Navy t-shirt emerged from the nearby men's room. He slowly walked in my direction and stopped a few feet away. He took out his phone, stared at it for a moment, tapped it a few times, then put it back in his pocket. He looked around the plaza for a minute, then turned his gaze on me. We locked eyes.
You're Robert March, aren't you?
I give him a wary little nod.
Wow, it really is you. I gotta say, I'm a big fan.
Okay.
And it's a damn shame what they did to IntelliGenery.
Oh, yeah?
Hell yes, it was.
He paused and looked around. The group of teens had entered the grounds of the memorial, along with the other tourists. The plaza was empty now, except for us. We passed an awkward moment looking at each other. I decide to break the ice. Look, what's this all about?
What's what about?
What exactly is going on here? Why are you watching me?
I'm not sure what you mean.
You called me and had me come here. Now, what is it that you want?
I didn't call you.
The guy seemed confused.
How would I do that?
Just then, a woman emerged from the ladies' restroom. The guy gave her a little wave. He looked back at me one last time, perplexed, then turned and walked away without a word. He joined the woman, and they hurried to catch up with their tour group. Someone tapped me on my shoulder. I nearly jumped out of my skin. I whirled around and was confronted with another version of me. This one seemed to be in much better shape than the Colonel. He was bearded, a bit plumper than me, and was wearing a hoodie that concealed most of his face, but otherwise pretty much my twin. "Follow me," he said. We walked to the backside of a small outbuilding near the edge of the park. I couldn't quit staring at him. My twin. I noticed he even had the same small scar above his right eyebrow as I did, the result of a particularly bad bicycle accident I had when I was 12 years old. "How many of us are there?" I asked. "4, but that's not important right now." He reached into his pocket and handed me something. It looked similar to an old-style thumb drive, but tiny, about a quarter-inch square, flat black, with a slight concave depression on each side. And what kind of weird connector was that? His head exploded before my very eyes, splattering me with blood, bone, and brain matter. His dead weight knocked me backwards and we fell to the ground in a heap, his lifeless body on top of me. Another shot, this one hitting him in the back. Another shot. I could feel the impact of the slugs being absorbed by his body. I quickly realized I had to get out of that place or one of those rounds would eventually find its way into me. I scrambled out from under him and took off running toward the parking lot, desperately zigzagging as bullets punctured the asphalt all around me. I ducked behind the school bus to catch my breath. I noticed a car racing through the parking lot heading my way. I was resigned to my fate when it screeched to a stop beside me. The passenger door flew open. It was Frank, the Uber driver.
Get in!
I scrambled into the passenger seat and he took off through the parking lot, squealing tires. A shot knocked the back window out as we blasted out of the exit of the parking lot and onto the streets surrounding the memorial. Soon, we were speeding down Veterans Boulevard, heading toward the Golden Gate Bridge.
I'm sure you have questions.
I looked at him blankly, blood and gore still dripping from my face.
I'm happy to tell you all I can, but don't expect much. I'm just a foot soldier in all this.
Where the hell are we going?
North, to a safe place. That's all I can tell you right now. Believe me, it's for your own good.
Who the hell are you?
That's an easy one, sir. I'm Frank, your Uber driver.
I was not amused. Look, pal, you either tell me who you are and what the hell is going on, or I swear to God I will jump out of this car and drag myself to the railing and jump off this bridge. I'm suicidal, in case you didn't know.
Yes, we're aware of what you were planning to do this morning, and believe me, we're glad that it didn't happen.
He paused.
I actually have a question for you, sir. Did he give you anything?
I held my hand out, opened it, and revealed the tiny thumb drive, or whatever that thing was. You mean this? He reached for it. I snatched my hand away and stuffed the tiny device deep into my pocket. Not until I get some answers.
You've been listening to Jump, Book 1 of the Robert March Chronicles. For more information, visit therobertmarch.com.